All right, so I'm going to do a short version of this review and then a long one. You can decide which one is more appropriate for you. First, the short. Bandit sucks, don't ride it. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, Bandit is a wooden roller coaster located at Movie Park, Germany, just north of Dusseldorf and Duisburg. It opened in 1999 and it was built by RCCA, otherwise known as the Roller Coaster Corporation of America. They only ever built a handful of roller coasters, none of which are that good. This includes the original Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, Coaster Express at Park Warner, and of course, Son of Beast at Kings Island. So yeah, this is one of theirs, so that should tell you right off the bat what could possibly go wrong. They went with a classic Cyclone layout for this ride. This is a layout we've of course seen many times, originally patterned of course after the Coney Island Cyclone in New York. We also have rides like Viper at Six Flags Great America, the original Cyclone with a P that was at Six Flags Magic Mountain, Georgia Cyclone at Six Flags Over Georgia, and the list goes on. It's got a height of 91 feet, a drop of 82 feet, max speed 50 miles per hour, and is located in the Wild West section of the park. Hence the name Bandit, which is a fantastic name. I just wish the name were given to a better ride. But I will give it credit, it's got a very cool look in this section of Movie Park, Germany. And I can understand why this attraction is still open, because visually it looks great. Honestly, I wish you could see it from more areas of the park, because from most pathways you can really only see the lift hill drop in this one turn. Because of course someone like me, even before riding it, was like, well, they should just RMC this thing. This would make a fantastic hybrid. But from what we've heard, this ride is popular enough at Movie Park, Germany that they don't feel the need to do that. Guests will still go out and ride this thing. So if you're watching this video and you want this to have a higher chance of getting RMC'd, don't ride it. I don't know, maybe it'll work. Probably not. Let's walk through this experience. First, I want to start with when you take a seat in these trains, because this is one of our big problems. These are premier built trains. So it has a very similar lap bar design to something like Mr. Freeze or Flight of Fear. The ride originally opened with Intamin trains. I'm actually not sure why they decided to switch over to premier trains. It's hard to imagine this ride could have operated with trains that were worse than these, but it just feels like these trains do not fit this track. As you're going around so many of these elements, the whole thing shuffles from side to side and it knocks your legs around. It's very, very unpleasant. I feel like it has to be a combination of the train design as well as the track design, because clearly RCCA does not have the best track record, no pun intended, but this thing is so rough, especially in the valleys. Like, it's not even the layout that is bad. Like, if you've done like Viper or the Coney Island Cyclone, it's fun, it's enjoyable. This thing is not. It was so rough that it actually made the ride experience miserable, and I'm someone that can tolerate a little bit of roughness. There are plenty of roller coasters that I still really enjoy, even though I'll admit they're not the smoothest. This is not one of them. So let's talk about which moments are worse than others. First, when you depart the station, you can already tell as you're going around this first turn that this is not going to be the most enjoyable of experiences. It feels like it couldn't even navigate this turn very well. You start up actually a pretty fast lift hill. It slows down though right as you reach the top. I don't know if that's to build anticipation or what. And then it speeds up as you then go down your twisted drop. And that's when you hit what I believe to be the worst part of the ride. And that is the bottom of this first drop into this first turn. And you know, here at Coaster Studios, we pride ourselves that we tend to shoot pretty good looking POVs. As you can see here, this part is really bouncy. That's with GoPro stabilization turned on. Imagine what it would look like if that were off. Even in-body stabilization couldn't save this ride from looking really janky, and that's just how rough that one spot is. And it doesn't stop there. After that first turn, you drop down and enter probably the next roughest section. That's going into this huge Airtime hill that runs parallel to the lift hill. Do you get Airtime on it? Not really. Following that hill, we have this big wide turn, and this is not a well-paced turn at all. You can even see in this moment that I'm just like shocked that this thing is just moving so slow through here. It was like, okay, and we're waiting for something to happen. What's going on? It picks back up, drops back down. Here's another valley that is extremely rough. This going into another Airtime hill. So as you can see, it's mostly the valleys that are the worst part, which makes sense. If you talk to some people, I mean, they'll tell you that, well, if you sit on a non-wheel seat, it's not going to be as bad. To that, I'll say, we rode this in the front row. I thought it was terrible. Tried it in the back. Thought it was terrible. I can't imagine the middle seats are any better. And as I like to say, if there's a certain way that you have to ride this ride in order to enjoy it, that's probably a sign that it's not a well-made roller coaster. At this point, you've entered now the lower section of the ride. You turn within the structure, now heading back towards the main layout, and you go through several of these hills that are pretty uninspired. Not really much to them. Here's another moment right here as you're on your return trip where you can just see how rough this is before that Airtime hill. Even if you fixed up a couple of these spots, the experience would be more enjoyable. But in my opinion, the much better solution is to give this thing the hybrid treatment, because an RMC at Movie Park Germany would be absolutely outstanding. It would easily be the best roller coaster there. This layout has so much potential. I know it has so much potential because they RMC Georgia Cyclone at Six Flags Over Georgia. It's now Twisted Cyclone, and that's really fun, really enjoyable roller coaster. They could totally do something like that here, and I wish that they would, because I don't care if you think that Bandit is not that bad. If that's how you're describing the ride is, oh, it's not that bad, it's probably not a good sign. You could instead be saying, wow, that was incredible. That was an outstanding layout. So much fun. I just want to do it over and over and over again. But you can only say that if they RMC it. So right now on my list of roller coasters that I would love to see RMC'd, this is currently at my top spot. Yes, even more so than rides like Boss at Six Flags St. Louis, Coaster Express at Park Warner, although that one I'm sure would be great too, or Roar at Six Flags America. This might be my least favorite roller coaster in Europe. And I say that as might because there are some really bad Vekoma SLCs that are just not fun. But that's like an SLC. At least you know what to expect. Getting on this thing, I did not think it was going to be anywhere near as bad as it actually was. So I walked off and said, wow, yeah, that's a one and done. I could go my entire life without ever doing that again, and I would be just fine. So for Bandit's final score, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. Wow, I actually gave it 2 points. It's because the layout is like not bad. A classic Cyclone layout is supposed to be enjoyable. But when this thing was not profiled well, it's terrible trains, as rough as can be, yeah, that does tend to take away from the experience. But those are just my thoughts on Bandit and Movie Park Germany. If you disagree and you enjoy this ride, I would love to hear why down below. And if you agree with me, feel free to share your experience on Bandit. Post all those thoughts below, and of course, stay tuned for more coaster reviews here at Coaster Studios. I'll see you next time.